Hello, and welcome to another video. Here, we share stories from people who have had near-death experiences. Today, we'll hear the story of Greg Thompson. He recounts how he passed away and had the chance to observe how souls arrive on Earth. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do that now and hit the notification bell to receive alerts about new videos. Now, let's listen to Greg's testimony. In 2013, I went through an experience that changed my life. At that time, I was facing serious health issues, particularly related to my breathing. I was suffering from exhaustion and could barely walk short distances without needing to stop and rest. One particular morning, I noticed that my toes were immobile, as if they were frozen, resisting my efforts to move them. The surprise didn't end there. Later that same day, I realized that I couldn't move them at all. The following day, this paralysis extended to my hands, which also joined the rebellious limbs of my body, no longer responding to my commands. Things worsened, and my arms and legs followed the same fate, becoming completely paralyzed. The nightmare peaked when I realized I could no longer change positions in bed. I endured 4 days of intense agony, and on the 5th day, my neck also ceased its functions in response to my efforts. At that point, I felt like I was dying, and the sense of helplessness was overwhelming. However, something unexpected happened. A violet light began to manifest in my field of vision, resembling a soft moonlight. My body reacted, moving toward that light, even though I didn't fully understand what was unfolding. A voice whispered in my left ear, asking why I was still there and urging me to fly away. Curiously, I didn't react. I just observed, as if I were outside my own body. Everything around me became silent, except for the buzzing in my ears and the rhythm of my heart that seemed to have stopped. Then something extraordinary happened. A sphere of souls appeared. It was something I had witnessed twice before and shared with others. It was a golden sphere, emanating a bright energy and pulsating white lights within it, representing each soul. In the previous instances when I saw that sphere, I was in a depressive state, but this time it approached me and wrapped me in a feeling of unconditional love. I was overwhelmed by this sensation of love and safety, as if I were in a cocoon, fully aware that I was loved and that everything would be all right. The sphere moved down towards my feet, and instantly I felt a warmth radiating from it. I was dazed, standing there absorbing this incredible experience. As the sphere continued to envelop my body, I knew something grand was happening. It was at that moment that I realized what was left of me. My body was cold and paralyzed again. I kept repeating, "No, no, please, keep going." The sphere started to move slowly around my legs, wrapping them with golden energies that progressively warmed as they intensified. When it finally reached my arms, which were extended alongside my legs, the energy spread like a scanner, traveling through my fingers and hands, enveloping my entire being. When it reached my heart, wow, I found myself in another place, amidst the cosmos. I was simply in awe. It was magnificent. I had always been fascinated by the vastness, and now I could feel it, sensing everything in motion, interacting with one another. It was immense, yet at the same time, I felt one with it. Then I realized I could formulate a question and wanted to know where I came from, how I was created. I found myself inside a huge white lamp where small white lights shone, each representing a soul, including mine. We were all together, vibrant and happy, ready to move forward. It was an intense and joyful emotion, although when thinking about where we would go, everything became uncertain. Nevertheless, we were determined to do our best, helping create evidence, and that motivated me even more. Over time, I began to feel exhaustion, and although at first I was reluctant to admit it, I started realizing that the fatigue was mounting to the point I could no longer resist. Suddenly, I found myself in an unfamiliar place. I spotted a light ahead, but I couldn't comprehend what was happening or where all the others had gone. I was completely disoriented. Then, I heard a voice behind me saying, "Greg, open your eyes." When I did, I realized I was in a hospital room. Next to me, there was a man dressed entirely in black with a book in front of him, reading. After he finished, he looked at me and said, "Good morning, my son." I responded and realized that I could speak and that my body felt normal. I shared with him the story I had lived, and initially he looked concerned, but soon he seemed to relax and began to smile, stating that I was much better now and that he needed to make his rounds. Before he left, I asked why he was there since he didn't follow any religion. He explained that he made daily rounds for those who needed his help. That's when everything started to make sense to me. Later, nurses, doctors, and technicians came to visit me, and life seemed to return. It's as if before we are reborn, we planned to be in different states, possibly even to encounter death through someone we knew. It was like this was part of our plan before reincarnating, a way to experience life and death in a unique manner. And the other person? That's for a good friend, understanding the feeling of what happened at the scene of the tragedy. That's all right. And of course, these things called life reviews, when we return, can question us about what we did and how we felt, and we can provide an adequate explanation. So they want to know how we felt, and now we can understand how they felt. Well, this is a learning experience we are going through. When I started going back to the grocery store again, I felt a certain apprehension every time I passed by the spot where I fell. However, I found a strategy that works for me. I confront that situation as if it were a physical space. It's as if I could go back and face what happened. It helps me move forward, and I tell myself, "Oh, that wasn't as terrible as it seemed initially." I felt bad tripping, but everything around me continued its course normally. What I really need to do is become familiar with the floor again. Life continues to flow normally. Of course, there's no ice here now, nor in the opposite situation, but facing this is the first step. It's essential to acknowledge that there is a problem, and I speak for myself, admitting that I truly have one. I need to identify what is causing this apprehension. If I'm afraid of falling again, I'm aware that I'm getting older, and new situations may arise. Not necessarily ice, but something different. So, I need to stay alert to this concern and consider all possibilities. I fell because I tripped on something. Perhaps I should pay more attention to what I'm doing. I didn't notice the ice when I should have been aware of it, but this is an area where I can make adjustments. I can focus on where I'm going and stop getting distracted by what I'll be doing in 10 minutes. If the situation involves losing a loved one, everything becomes much more difficult because there's no way to escape. But dialogue is essential. It's important to talk to friends or loved ones and seek a support group if possible. Finding a support group to share experiences of loss and other challenges can be very beneficial. I'm an alcoholic, and although I no longer attend Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, I remember how comforting it was to see that others faced the same problem as I did. When I returned to the grocery store, I felt a certain apprehension passing by the place where I fell, but I found a method that works for me. I confront this situation as if it were a physical space. It's like I can revisit that moment and face what happened. This helps me move forward, and I affirm that in fact, it wasn't as horrible as I initially thought. I felt okay. I stumbled, but everything around me continued on its normal course and intact. What I really need to do is get better acquainted with the ground, the forest functioning as it should. Of course, there's no ice here now or in a similar situation, but confronting it is the first step. It's crucial to acknowledge that there is a problem, and I can definitely say that I have one. I can't speak for you, I can only speak for myself, and I really need to admit that I face a challenge. It's essential to identify what is generating this anxiety. If the fear of falling again is present, I need to understand that I'm aging and that other situations may arise. It's not just about ice, but about anything else. Therefore, I need to be aware of this fear and consider all possibilities. I fell because I tripped on something, so maybe I should be more attentive to what I'm doing. I didn't notice the ice when I should have, but this is an area where I can make changes. I can focus on where I'm going and stop worrying about what I'll do in 10 minutes. When it comes to a loved one who has passed away, the situation is significantly more challenging. There's no way to escape it. However, what's needed is to talk. It's important to open up to others, like a good friend or a family member, and if possible, seek out a support group. Finding a community to share experiences related to lost loved ones and other hardships can be incredibly helpful. I am an alcoholic and used to attend Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. Even though I don't do that anymore, I found it extremely comforting to know there are others going through the same situation as me. It's essential to recognize that we are not alone, and that's a critical realization. It's vital to acknowledge that help is available if we choose to seek it. My personal experience illustrates this well. I have been in life-threatening situations on 2 occasions without being fully aware of the danger. In those moments, my spiritual guides manifested, pressing on my shoulders and radiating a warmth that alerted me to the looming threat. This sensation was a signal that I needed to pay attention to the situation. Both occurrences involved cars. The first time, our vehicle changed lanes, and I was aware of the possibility, so I slowed down. The car that swerved in front of me passed just inches away, and the driver didn't even notice my presence. The second time, all the traffic lights turned red as I was driving through the city, which felt unusual. I discovered I was approaching a busy intersection during rush hour, and a car ran the red light at a speed far above the limit, completely ignoring the stop signals. Again, my spiritual guides warned me, and I crossed the intersection with caution. After stopping, I realized I didn't feel fear or distress about what had happened. Instead, I was grateful to have come out unscathed. These episodes made me understand that life is fragile, and that in both cases, my guardian angels or spiritual guides were actively protecting me. Therefore, I am deeply thankful for their presence. And you, what do you think about this incredible story? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Thank you for watching until the end. If you want to see more stories like this, click on one of the 2 videos that are appearing on your screen now.